What's up, everyone? It's your girl Vegan Nay, and welcome back to another episode of Bites with Nay Cooking Edition, where I like to create delicious vegan recipes to help inspire you to eat a little healthier. And today's episode is super exciting because I already know why you clicked on this video. We're getting into one of my all-time favorite meals, which are tacos. Culture is such a big role in cuisine, and for someone like me who loves all different kinds of foods from all parts of the world, learning about where food comes from is such a big factor into the love and appreciation I put into my food. Carne asada just means grilled meat and has been a staple in Mexican cuisine for centuries. The traditional method of making carne asada just means the beef has been marinated and grilled or seared to infuse this char flavor that's typically served in thin slices or strips, and this results in a flavor that is smoky, savory, and is definitely mouth-watering. And listen, I know I'm Puerto Rican and Cuban and I'm not Mexican, but I do know a thing or two about authentic Mexican flavors, and we'll be getting into some of the unique spices and chiles that will be incorporated into today's recipe. And that's what's really gonna bring out those powerful flavors in our beautiful marinade. And listen, y'all know I don't play around when it comes to good quality produce. So I even go behind the scenes with you and share the amazing business and people behind where I source my mushrooms, a little bit of the process of what it takes to grow beautiful mushrooms, and show how I harvest my own oyster mushrooms, which will be the star of today's video. So sit down and relax, and maybe even subscribe, because we're about to get into some amazing vegan carne asada style tacos. Let's get it. So the first thing that we're going to do to get the mushrooms started is to sear off our oyster mushrooms. This is basically to get the water out of them because we want them to have that meaty texture. If you guys watched my last video, you know that this part, technically you can eat it, but we're going to take it out. And I'm just going to cut around it because I still want somewhat of the pieces to be whole. If you really want to make a dish that's amazing, you always start with the quality of your produce. And I want to show you guys behind the scenes of going to my supplier's farm and getting to know a little bit more about the process of growing these amazing mushrooms and more about him and his business. It was honestly really fun and super interesting, and I'm so glad that I got to experience that.
Well, you got to remember, it was 10 years, but the first, 5
Couple are you figuring
it was just
out?
having fun, and
Yeah.
growing for me only.
Yeah.
The original idea with the grow mushrooms was because I couldn't find lion's mane. I had to learn to grow it.
Yeah.
I'm Joe Iovino. I run Cactus Hat Mushrooms. It's a gourmet mushroom farm. We currently serve Tampa and St. Pete, and I started that farm from my house. I was a firefighter with Polk County for 10 years, and I started growing mushrooms as a way to unwind. I accidentally started a business. I started selling to friends, neighbors, one restaurant. Word gets around, now they're calling me. I didn't realize, and that was in 2016, 2017, something like that, where I started actually selling the mushrooms to people, because I had been growing before that just for fun. And next thing I knew it, there was a big restaurant demand. We got the LLC in 2019 and made it official. We said, you know what, let's just change our lives completely. Let's move further north to Brooksville, where we could get some acreage. And that's what we did. We got 5 acres in Brooksville. It's agriculture land. And we slapped down a 3,000 square foot building on a slab, and now we could grow 8,000 pounds a month if we needed to.
Would you mind giving me a tour
Yeah,
around?
sure.
Okay,
do it.
let's go. So I was lucky enough for Joe to show me around his farm and give me a little bit of insight about his process on making these quality mushrooms. So this is the room where what happens?
This is what we call the lab. It's
Okay.
really the only room in the whole farm that you try your best to make it as sterile as possible.
Okay.
These are the blocks. These were just cooked. They are still hot.
Yeah, I can see that.
So
They
we
steam
just
them.
took them out, and it'll take a full day for them to cool down to room temperature where it's safe to actually pour some spawn into whatever. The key to all this are these flow hoods. All it is a HEPA filter face.
Yeah.
And a blower in the back, so when you're working in front of it, you have a gentle flow of sterile air. Any work you're doing that requires sterility is done in front of flow hoods. Lots of alcohol, gloves.
So you're like
slam.
a scientist.
No, I mean, a lot of mushroom farmers try to hype themselves up it's not, don't let these mushroom farmers...
Such a humble man.
Don't let these mushroom farmers fool you. It's not that advanced.
So you need to do next some kits.
Oh, I do. I sell them. But it's just not on the website or nothing. It's more like you call me.
Noah guy. Okay, I see you. This place is huge, and I'm actually so proud of him because when I met him, he was doing business out of his garage, and to see him do this factory warehouse type of vibe and really grow in his business made me so proud and happy for him. But with each phase that the mushroom goes through, it goes to a different room, so this is the second phase.
They have to sit in a room somewhere for anywhere from 10 days to 20-something days. You know? But that's it. When these blocks turn white, you just cut it, and you'll see in the other grow room that they just start growing out of that cut. That's the spawn I was talking about. This would just be the seeds. We make our own and we buy some. All you do is you break this up.
Yeah.
And then you pour a little bit in each bag.
Okay.
And whatever you pour in there is what's going to grow. The magic mushroom thing has...
I get you. That joke is so played out.
Oh, dude, my skin hurts. Like, I cringe so hard, my skin hurts. Or even the restaurants, like some sous chef somewhere. Do you grow the fun kind? Oh, dude, get out of here, man.
Willy Wonka's factory. Thank you. But this is the main room, right, where you harvest.
Yeah, this is the grow room. So here we got some blue oysters.
Okay.
We grow the King Blue strain exclusively. Have thick, big caps. You can play it like a drum. You can play a beat on it. Big caps, and the most important part to me, why I only grow this one, edible stems. The fact that the caps are big, they're meaty, the flavor is pretty neutral on these, and the stem is edible, it's very easy to sell and work with.
Let's go into the other mushrooms.
After about 4 days, they
start
this.
to bud. Okay.
They start growing out, and they probably double in size every day. Eventually, the hairs will start forming and stuff like that, and they'll have that classic lion's mane look. These are chestnut mushrooms.
Cool, guys.
They look like little pretzel buns. These particular blocks I had made just for fun, because I usually stick to only oyster and lion's mane because that's what sells the most. So sometimes I grow things for fun just to mix it up. This was one of those cases. I did this in April 26th. I inoculated it. I seeded it. They were in the incubation room way too long, and they actually started pinning in the bag before we cut it. So you have all these mushrooms that are growing from places they don't normally grow from. Please watch your step, because if you fall on camera, I'm gonna laugh.
Love the support. I'm gonna see what speaks to me, but they're like all good. Okay, this is the one. I don't care. And then I'm scared. I always like get scared that I'm gonna break them off a certain way.
Yeah, this is what I do. I pull the top of the bag.
Okay.
I grab the bottom. I just pull up.
Okay.
And I move on with my life.
Oh my god. Okay. Jesus.
Yeah, just kind of push down on top of the block and just pull it up to 12 o'clock. Pull. There you go. Now, there you go.
I got it.
Here, hold it from the back so they see the good side.
Okay.
There you go.
Yes, guys, look at this. So pretty. Okay, so now I'm going to bag up my freshly harvested mushroom. I had such a great time at the farm, and it's because of Joe's love and dedication to his work that I will forever be a loyal customer, and really did appreciate the mini trip just coming out here and getting in tune with nature. But back to the video. Cast iron skillets are some of the best pans that you can use, especially when cooking mushrooms. They are really good for getting a nice sear on them, which is exactly what we're going to be doing for this recipe, because we want to release all the water out of it and get that nice crunchy exterior. So get your pan nice and hot. I have mine on a medium to high heat, and I'm using olive oil. Then I'm just gonna put my mushrooms on the pan and press them with another plate. You can use another cast iron skillet, but I only have one right now, so I'm using a hot plate and just pressing down to gently release the water and continuing to cook for about 6 to 8 minutes, or until I get that nice golden look. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I press the mushrooms to release their water. And a lot of people don't like mushrooms because they associate it with a chewy texture that's super watery. And this is why we do what we do, so we can get that nice meaty texture. So even though I'm going to be marinating these mushrooms, I still want to sprinkle a little bit of seasoning on them while they're in the pan. So I'm just putting on some homemade adobo and salt. And if you didn't know, I recently just dropped a video going over some vegan Puerto Rican food where I go over a whole bunch of recipes, but I also include some homemade adobo and sazon. So if you want to know how to make your own adobo, check that video out. And then you're basically just going to repeat this process until all your mushrooms are done. And after a while, your plate will get hot if you are using a plate like me. So what I like to do is just grab a little towel, put it on the plate so I don't burn my fingers, and so you can be safe. So because of these style tacos, I'm going to be cooking them 2 different ways. One time on the pan, and then the second time will be outside on the grill. You know you're done pan searing them when they're not as voluminous because we cooked the water out, and they're going to be slightly darker and browner in color because of the nice hot sear. One of the main reasons that I love using mushrooms as a meat replacement is because it's amazing texture. Once you cook out the water, it really has that meatiness that you're looking for, and its amazing ability to absorb the flavor that you're incorporating into your dish. As a vegan, I often get asked, why would I want to eat plant-based versions of dishes that mimic meat? For me, the decision to go vegan was driven by this desire to just live a healthier lifestyle while also aligning with my values of animal welfare. I appreciated that plant-based alternatives still provided me with similar textures and flavors to traditional meat, and it also allowed me to have that familiar taste without compromising my principles. At the end of the day, everyone has their own reason, but essentially if I can benefit from a plant-based diet and still eat the foods that I love, it's kind of like a win-win in my opinion. So now that the mushrooms are done, I'm just gonna set those aside so they can rest while I work on this amazing marinade that is full of Mexican flavor and fresh chiles. So even though we're making carne asada style tacos, the marinade is actually inspired by al pastor tacos. So in a way, I'm combining techniques and flavors from both of these style tacos and making them into one. This marinade is full of Mexican flavor with all the loads of different chiles such as guajillo, pasilla, chili de albo, chipotle, and a whole bunch of fresh spices. And I even incorporate fresh pineapple into this marinade because it's going to balance out the spice and the kick from all the chiles in a wonderful way. And no, it's not going to taste super sweet, I promise you. I know what I'm talking about, it just works. So the spices in this marinade are going to be just as important as the chiles. There's things like cumin, coriander, achote paste, Mexican oregano, and a lot of these things can actually be found in the Latin market. Now we're basically going to be throwing out our marinade ingredients on the stove to wake up the spices and the chiles, but be warned, open up your windows and put on the little fan on top of your stove tops because it is very fragrant and very pungent. Sometimes it even chokes me up a little bit with all the chiles, but it's like, you know, it's like a good pain. So now that we cooked our chiles and our spices and they're ready to go, it's time to just take the rest of the ingredients of our marinade and throw it in our blender so it becomes a nice thick paste to marinate our mushrooms with. Yeah, that's good. Definitely got that kick, but not too much. And it got that Mexican flavor, which I really, really wanted to incorporate with those chilies. So now, I'm gonna dump a little bit of this in here. These mushrooms, they soak up a lot of the flavor, so don't be scared. I also use fresh pineapple in this marinade because it's sweet and tangy, and those flavors are going to work really well with balancing out the spices and the kick from the chiles.
¡Claro que sí!
So because these style tacos are usually cooked on an open flame, I figured this be the perfect opportunity to cook outside because nature and cooking are two of my most favorite things. So whenever I get a chance to do both, you know I'm in there. And today just so happened to be a cool, nice, breezy day. So it couldn't have been more perfect for this video. So one of the main reasons that I'm using a grill for this recipe is because it really does give that barbecue essence, that char flavor that we're really looking for into this dish, especially since we're trying to recreate something that's meaty. So because our mushrooms are technically halfway cooked because we seared them off, all we're really doing is trying to infuse that nice char flavor into them. So you want to put them on the grill for about 15 to 20 minutes at most, and it's okay if you start to see bits of it brown and char up because that's actually what we're looking for. While the mushrooms finish cooking, I'm going to be chopping up the toppings for the tacos, and we're keeping it really simple, trying to be authentic to what you would usually find at like a taco truck. I'm going to use a white onion, cilantro, radish, and of course the lime, which is super important to me in my taco. So I like to use the whole stem when I chop up cilantro because that's what has all the flavor, and it's so much easier than picking them off the stem. A little trick I like to do with citrus fruits is to roll them out before cutting them because it just releases the juices and makes it super easy to squeeze out later. I checked on my mushrooms and I did like the way that they looked, but I added 5 more minutes just to get that nice char I was looking for, and then once they were done, I took them off the grill and then it was time to assemble the taco. Because our toppings are already done, all we have to do is heat up our tortillas and shred our meat, and you can use whatever tortilla your heart desires. Now, this is the magical part because these mushrooms look absolutely divine and they are shredding just like real meat would. They are juicy, they have bits of char to them, they have that smoky flavor, and of course are packed with that marinade, so they are just pungent with flavor. It's moments like this that reassure me to keep going and make these types of videos so that I can continue to blow everyone's mind about how versatile plant-based cuisines and dishes can really be. Now guys, for the full recipe to this video, please have some patience with me as I am currently in the midst of working on my website where I can have one platform to have all my recipes and vegan content in one place for you. But because I'm not using an automatic website builder and doing everything from scratch, it's taking a little bit of time, but it's so worth the wait. So just keep posted on my Instagram where I'll be sharing my website details and I'll be linking my recipes in my descriptions moving forward. Once I finish assembling my tacos, I top it all off with some salsa verde, which is essentially like a green chile sauce, and it is complete. So we are finally done. I'm super excited to try this out. I know it's gonna taste amazing, but of course, I have to let you guys know what the vibes is. Like, you taste all the flavors, the little bit of spice, the little bit of sweetness, the onions, that like citrusy punch from the cilantro. Oh my god. 20 out of 10. For sure. Hold on. Anyways, you guys know the drill. Thank you so much for watching if you're still here. And I promise you, vegan or not, whoever makes these tacos will be satisfied. I'll see you guys next week.